Mr. Toastmaster. We have all experienced moments or situations where you almost felt like you were in a dream. It was almost surreal, or it was imagined, where you felt like you had no control. These experiences are usually difficult to understand when you're going through them. But at the end, they live with you. They become something that is embedded into something that you take with you in the long term. You will always remember them. In my case, that memory involves a desert, farms, animals, and a funeral. Sounds like a lot. So in 2016, just about 3 months after I moved here, I happened to get a call from back home with sad news that my uncle had passed. Now this was my father's younger brother. The closest was there were the middle children, and there were the troublesome ones. So I spent a lot of time with them. So with those news, I packed my bags and went back home. And as is custom, I got to help prepare for the funeral. Once again, what we traditionally do is we slaughter animals for people that attend funerals so that they can enjoy the meat or eat the meat after the funeral has taken place. And I was given that task of organizing a beast for that particular function. My other uncle's farm is right in the heart of Botswana. If you've ever been there, it's called the Central Kalahari Game Reserve, just very close to that. So it's in the desert, like I've said. We happened to set off for this journey where we got there around 8 in the evening, and we did the task that was allocated to us. The beast was slaughtered. We packed up the meat nicely in a car, and when it was time to go home, back to the funeral to get preparations ready, the car just wouldn't start. So we filled it with the engine, we did all we could, but it just didn't work. And around that time, it was around 2 o'clock in the morning, in June. So you can imagine in winter, the sand. What I didn't tell you was that we had to drive from where there are roads. It's about 20 kilometers to the farm, and then you have to drive in the farm another 5 kilometers. It's sand, very heavy sand. At that point, we had to make a decision. What do we do? There were 3 of us. It was my cousin and I and another uncle, the uncle who owns the farm. So what happened was we decided that we would leave the old man behind, and the younger guys would have to trek back at 5 kilometers to where we can hitchhike and get help. There was no cell reception, and that was the only option that we had. So we started on, imagine with dew falling. That was early in the morning, dew falling, heavy sand. We are sleepy, we are tired after the hard work that we had to do. But we just had to take back the meat for preparations. So we began walking for what felt like eternity, only to get to the farm gate at around 5 in the morning. We are tired, and we happened to have matches from the farm, so we lit a fire, sat by the road, and waited for any car that would pass by. It was only around 7 when we managed to get a ride back to the road, and we managed to go to the nearest village to make phone calls to tell others to find a vehicle that can come and help us. What happened next was a comedy of errors from guys who had been working the whole night and were tired. We got a ride that arrived around 4 in the evening, and we headed back to the farm. Unbeknownst to us, our uncle had also decided, since we had taken all day, to walk to the gate. And fortunately, he had managed to find a ride in a truck. So they decided to drive into the farm, get the meat, and then drive to the road where they could meet us. We didn't know that, unfortunately. So we drove right back to the farm to find nobody. So we trekked back to the main road, and we meet them. What happens next is comical. We find that the truck has been stuck in sand. So we had to wait there again until a Samaritan drove by who also happens to own a farm close by. And we had to work again, where we had to cut branches of trees to put them, align them beneath the tires, and help the truck make its way out of the sand. By the time we had done that task, it was already around 8 in the evening. Another day lost, and we only reached our destination at around 4 in the morning. There was no rest, I guarantee you. We had to set the pots on fire, prepare for the funeral that was taking place at 6 in the morning, so that when people are done burying, they can come and eat their meat. But there's one thing that I learned from that story. Even in the saddest moments, there is a series of events that will always almost live with that memory. And in my case, it was a winter's family. That's the Toastmaster.